The desert is a dangerous place. There's no food or water, and without food and water, we die. During the day, it is very hot, and you need to wear many layers to protect your skin. During the night, it is very cold, and you need to wear many layers to keep yourself warm. When the wind blows, the desert changes shape, and it is very easy to get lost. The desert is a dangerous place. People do not go there unless they have to. Here is Jerusalem. Here is the wall. This was the city of David, the city of the people of God. Sometimes the people of God forget who they are, and they hide from God and pretend that God is not there. Sometimes they even worship other gods. There are also people who come so close to God, and God comes so close to them that they know what God wants them to say and do. These people are known as prophets. They know the best way. Both men and women and children can be prophets. You might know one too. King Solomon was one of those who forgot who he was, so God said he would tear his kingdom in two. The prophet showed that God knew this was the best way. He took off his cloak and cut it into 12 pieces. Here are the 12 pieces of the cloak. 10 pieces were for the tribes that were around the city, Samaria. The capital of the northern kingdom. And 2 pieces were for the tribes around Jerusalem, the capital of the southern kingdom. After King Solomon died, the prophecy came true. God sent prophets to both kingdoms. The words of some prophets, like Elijah and Elisha, have disappeared. They were either lost or never written down. Other prophets wrote down what God told them to say, or some of them, their friends wrote down their words. I want to show you something about the ones who left their words for us. Here are 4 scrolls to help us remember. For example, here is Jeremiah's. This is all very interesting. It has writings of the 12 prophets on it. They are sometimes called the minor prophets because they did not leave as many words as the others. This one is called Isaiah, but it really has the writing of 3 Isaiahs on it. This one with all the words of Jeremiah, and this is the other one with all the words of Ezekiel. Now, let's see what happened. Here's the southern kingdom where Jerusalem is. The prophet Amos, one of the 12 minor prophets, was from the southern kingdom, but God sent him to speak to the rulers in the northern kingdom. Let me read from the scroll. I hate, despite your feasts, and I take no delight in your solemn assemblies. Take away from me the noise of your songs. To the melody of your harps I will not listen. But let justice roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. Amos spoke for God to the priests and to the king. This is what all the prophets did. Now here are the names of all the prophets on the scroll: Hosea, Joel, Amos, Adabi, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Malachi. There's many more. Some God sent to the northern kingdom, and some to the southern kingdom. I will put the scroll of the 12 between the 2 kingdoms to remind you. One day, the northern kingdom was conquered by Assyria. Then the Assyrians surrounded Jerusalem in the southern kingdom. The people were afraid, but the Assyrians went away. The first prophet, named Isaiah, who lived in Jerusalem, said that the kingdom would fall, but that a remnant, a few of the people, would be saved. But it was not the Assyrians, but the Babylonians who took the city, and they took many people away in exile. The second Isaiah must have been one of those people who was taken, and he wrote his words in Babylon. He said there would be a highway made straight in the desert, and they would go home one day. He was hopeful. The prophet Jeremiah stayed in Jerusalem. He said that the city would fall, but that the people of Jerusalem would not understand what he was talking about. In time, even Jeremiah left. He and Baruch, his scribe, went to Egypt with some others to be safe. He was very sad. Ezekiel wrote in Babylon too. He was taken away with one of the first groups. Even before Jerusalem was torn down, he was a prophet in his new home. He told the people in exile that Jerusalem would be destroyed and that they would not be able to go home soon. After Jerusalem was destroyed, he had visions of hope that they would go home again. They would be like dry bones in a valley that put themselves back together again, turned into people, and walked to their old home, to Jerusalem. The third, Isaiah, was one of the people who went back to Jerusalem. The people there were not really glad to see him, and the others when he returned. The city was still broken down. Many of the walls were still black from the fires the Babylonians had set. This Isaiah helped the people and the priests get ready for a time when they would not have to have their own king. There are most of the prophets in the Old Testament. We know a lot about them because their words were written down a long time ago. Today, there are still prophets. They speak to the rulers, to the priests, the ministry and rabbis, and to the people. They still say and do what God wants them to do. They help all of us know the best way to live. Prophets come from all kinds of places and are all kinds of people, just like you. So some of you in this circle may be or become a prophet. I wonder what you like best about the prophets. I wonder what part of this story you would like to be a part of. I wonder if there's any pieces of this story that we can leave out and still have all that we need. As I put away our lesson today, think about the work that you would like to work on today. You are welcome to work on this story or any of the stories in our room. What would you like to work on today?